We've all been there. You're with a woman you like, thinking the connection is real, believing she feels the same attraction as you do, but deep down, something's off. You start to notice small signs, little rejections disguised as, "I'm not in the mood," or "I'm tired." At first, you brush it off, convincing yourself it's normal, telling yourself she just needs more time, that everything will naturally flow. But here's the harsh truth. If a woman doesn't naturally seek intimacy with you, it's not about waiting longer. It's about understanding that you're not triggering the right things in her mind. What I'm talking about here is a psychological secret that, if you don't know it, will keep you forever stuck in lukewarm relationships where sex is scarce, boring, or non-existent. This will slowly drain you, turn you into a man who begs for intimacy, who accepts crumbs of sexual affection because you believe it's all you deserve. You'll lose your masculine magnetism, start doubting your attractiveness, and before you know it, you'll be trapped in a cycle where you're begging for sexual attention instead of being the man she desperately craves. You deserve better than that. You deserve to be the kind of man women naturally and passionately desire intimately. Today, I'm going to reveal that secret. I knew a guy who didn't just have women interested in him. They were practically chasing his attention, and I couldn't figure out why. He wasn't especially good looking. He wasn't rich. In fact, he lived in a small apartment and had no money. And yet, somehow, he was incredibly successful with women. I'm sure you know someone like that too. Time went on, and I got curious about the subject. I started reading books on female psychology, attraction, and relationship dynamics, listening to every expert I could find. And after years, I discovered his secret. I still remember asking him how he did it, and he'd always say he didn't do anything special, that he was just naturally magnetic, and that any woman he spoke to would feel drawn to him. As I mentioned before, he wasn't attractive at all. Physical appearance doesn't play as big a role as people think in sparking deep attraction. But he was doing something unconsciously every single time he talked to a woman. He assumed she wanted to connect with him, and that assumption made him behave in a way that triggered a strong emotional response. I know this sounds complicated, but don't worry. I'm going to break it all down for you. This guy truly believed in his mind that he was completely irresistible, and therefore all women would want to be close to him. And he acted according to that belief. This is the name of our secret. Treat the woman as if she already feels attracted to you. I'm going to explain exactly how to do this and how to project that energy onto any woman you talk to. But first, I want you to understand the core idea. You need to communicate to the woman in front of you that you are sexually above her and that she desires you. Like I've explained before, women are emotional creatures who operate based on feelings. They judge you by the type of emotions you're radiating. The most important phrase to remember is, she feels what you feel. If you can make her feel that she desires you sexually, it doesn't matter who she is. She'll become intimately obsessed with you. And even if she initially doesn't want intimacy, if you act as if she already does, that will awaken her desire. That's why I said from the start, you need to be borderline delusional in your sexual confidence. I've spent years studying and practicing this, and I have plenty of real-life experiences. I'm not just someone repeating internet advice that sounds impossible to apply. I want you to trust and apply what I'm about to share in this video. Try it, you have nothing to lose, and see the results for yourself. And please come back and share your story in the comments afterward. Now, imagine we have two men each talking to a beautiful woman. The first is an average guy. The second knows the technique we're talking about today. The first man thinks, wow, she's so beautiful. I need to make her like me, to see me as sexual material. Without realizing it, he's telling himself, I'm down here, she's up there. I need to climb to her level. I want her to desire me sexually. So, he approaches her and starts talking about how he works at a big company, makes a good salary, works out every day, and how great he is in bed, and so on. It's the kind of conversation most guys have when they see a beautiful woman. He starts talking about his sexual achievements, who he is, and how amazing he is intimately. As I mentioned earlier, women process everything through emotions. Everything you say translates into feelings inside her. In this case, the woman will interpret it as, wow, he saw me and found me attractive, but I don't find him sexually attractive. He's trying to convince me to sleep with him. Please want me. He needs me to validate his masculinity. You don't need to be a genius to figure out this woman will never want intimacy with him. On the other hand, we have the man who knows today's technique. He approaches her with the mindset that she already wants intimacy with him. He sees himself as sexually above her, and therefore, he won't start bragging about himself or his sexual adventures. He won't care about impressing her. He'll just talk about anything and enjoy the moment naturally. This is the first step. Don't try to sell yourself sexually to the woman you're talking to. Don't start telling her about yourself and your intimate achievements. Look, I know you feel the urge to tell her how amazing you are in bed and talk about your sexual experiences. But please, suppress that urge. Trust me on this. When you're talking to her as if she already desires you, you don't try to convince her to sleep with you. Forget about your achievements and sexual skills. They won't help you with her. Let's move on to the second step. After talking to this woman for a while, she might ask something like, "Are you trying to seduce me?" Or, "Do you just want to sleep with me?" An average man will think, "She's caught me. I'll try to show her I'm not just after sex." And he'll say something like, "Oh no, I'm not trying to seduce you," and start explaining that he just wants to get to know her better and that he respects women. Now, how will the woman translate this? This guy got flustered by what I said, and now he's trying to prove he's not only interested in sex, but it's obvious he desires me and wants to sleep with me. He just can't admit it because he's afraid of me. Listen to me carefully, my friend. By saying this, you're clearly showing you have a weak personality, and at the same time, you've revealed a low sexual value that will make her avoid you immediately. If she were to say, for example, "You look like you're bad in bed," he might reply, "Oh, that's not true. I'm actually really good." Or, "All my exes said I was amazing." In this example, the man is trying to justify his sexual skills, trying to use logic on her. But as I've said before, this translates into her seeing you as sexually inferior and trying to climb up to her level. Now let's look at the second man. When she says, "Are you trying to seduce me?" he replies, "Oh my God, we just met and you're already thinking about sex. What's wrong with you?" What happened here in these two examples? Listen carefully. Women have a habit of sexually testing men. Most of the time, they don't even realize they're doing it, but their nature compels them to test a man's sexual confidence. What I want you to understand is that sometimes a woman may challenge you on personal or confidence-related topics without even realizing it. She might tease you, make playful remarks, or question your attitude. This is simply part of human interaction, and the best way to handle these moments is to act as if she already enjoys your company. In short, there are 3 ways to handle these situations. Ignore what she said completely. Turn her comment into a light, playful joke. Give a response unrelated to her comment that shows confidence. Here are some examples. Focus on them and try to understand. If she says, "I bet you're terrible in relationships," you could say, "Oh wow, thanks for the compliment. So where do you work?" If she says, "Are you trying to win me over?" you could say, "No, I don't need to. You're too easy to impress." If she says, "You just want to be around me," you could say, "My mom already bought me my own couch. I don't need yours." If she says, "I have a boyfriend," you could say, "Great, he can buy us drinks. What's your name again?" If she says, "I'm not interested in you," you could say, "Wow, we just met and you're already saying that? Are you always this quick to judge?" If she says, "I know what you're doing," you could say, "Oh wow, you're so curious about me that you're already trying to figure me out." If she says, "You annoy me," you could say, "That's what everyone says before they realize I'm actually great company." If she says, "That's a terrible pickup line," you could say, "That's a terrible rejection line, miss. It's not going to work on me. Try something more original." If she says, "What makes you think I want to spend time with you?" you could say, "Don't worry, I'll disappear after you introduce me to your cute friend over there." If she's behaving in a way you don't approve of, start walking away and say, "You know what? This really isn't working. You're acting playful for no reason." Or, "You look so cute when you're flustered, but be careful, miss. I might have to take you home and make you sit in a chair facing the wall. That's what my mom used to do to me when I acted like a troublemaker." I want you to replay and listen to this part of the video and really try to understand it, because it's the most important thing I've told you so far in this whole series. Now let's move on to the final step. But before that, you need to understand an important concept. In our society, anything that is hard to get or requires a lot of effort to obtain is considered very valuable. That's why precious metals like platinum, diamonds, and gold are so highly valued, not just because they're expensive, but because they're rare, which makes them costly and challenging for most people to acquire. When a woman asks you, "What did you do today?" many average men would end up saying something like, "Oh, nothing much. What about you?" This shows that you're just another guy with a boring sexual life. In other words, too easy to get intimately and offering no challenge. Now let's consider another way to answer the same question. Here's what you should say if a woman asks you what you did all day. "Too many things, honestly, but I don't really feel like telling you about it." She'll say, "Why? Did something happen?" And you'll say, "No, I just don't like telling people what I do in my day." And boom, you've automatically taken control here and shown her that you are sexually valuable and that she would have to work to earn your intimate attention. This has a lot of nuances, and this question should always be answered according to the context. If you say this to a woman without a humorous or playful tone in the context, you could quickly end up in the friend zone. Always make sure to respond according to the vibe of the moment. Always remember that either you will sexually challenge her or she will challenge you and make you qualify yourself to match her sexual level. Therefore, it's always better to take on this role of sexual leadership from the start, rather than letting her dominate you. As long as you make women realize they have to fight to maintain your attention and sexual desire, attraction will always be strong. Ultimately, you should treat every woman as if she already enjoyed your company and was interested in being around you. You don't need her validation, and you don't need to try to impress her. All you focus on is having a good time together. And that's it. Remember, she feels what you feel. If you internally believe that you are naturally attractive and charismatic, she will sense it too. If you believe she already enjoys being with you, she will start to genuinely feel that way. This approach can completely change the way you connect with people. It's not about complicated techniques or memorized lines. It's about adjusting your mindset and projecting authentic confidence toward others. Once you master this, you'll notice how people start looking for your attention, how they make playful hints, and how they take the initiative to spend more time with you. Apply what I taught you today and come tell me your story in the comments. I want to know how it went and what changes you noticed in how others respond to you. If this video helped you, give it a like so more people can discover this secret. And subscribe because I will keep sharing more insights into human connection and psychology that can change your life forever.